Thanks, Roger. We'll be switching gears in just a moment to a mystery melodrama, as the Mr. and Mrs. North series was known. This couple began as lighthearted comedy literature in the New Yorker magazine in the 30s, written by Richard Lockridge. It wasn't until 1940, when he teamed up with his wife, Frances, that the Norths started getting involved in murder, mayhem, and crime fighting, and the radio show started challenging the front runner of its day, Mr. District Attorney. The Norths were just an average couple. He was a book publisher who happened to stumble over a corpse each week. Pam was just a housewife. Don't you love that term, just a housewife? Who liked to play Cupid for her single friends and sometimes talked in riddles. But it was her woman's intuition that actually named murderer and then gathered up facts to support her claim. Do any of you remember the name Mandel Kramer? I see not. A name that came up fairly often on a number of shows. Backstage Wife, The Falcon, Perry Mason. He was Lieutenant Tragg on Perry Mason. X-1. He was one of the last Johnny Dollars in Yours Truly, Johnny Dollar. Anyway, he often appeared on the Mr. and Mrs. North shows as Mahatma McGloin, a cab driver. Don't know why I brought that up. It's just that name stuck in my mind, and I just had to say Mahatma McGloin again. It's hard to say. So on with the show without Mahatma McGloin. Mahatma McGloin. You try saying that. Tonight's episode, The $1 Million Murder, alias The Red Dress.
Mr. and Mrs. North, starring Alice Frost and Joseph Curtin. As most people who start the summer losing golf balls, finding a suntan and getting over poison ivy, Pam and Jerry North are happy to vacate their vacation and return home at last. And on this September day, as they thread their way through New York City traffic after a long drive from the country, Pamela looks forward to the humble joys of home.
It's going to be so good to get back to our own little bed again.
Mm-hmm.
And a mattress that doesn't go uphill in the middle.
Didn't you like the one at the hotel, dear?
Oh, it was all right, Jerry. But I like a mattress that just lies there and gives in, instead of fighting me back in all the wrong places.
Well, if I'd known that, I would have given you mine. I had a mattress that was so limp it sagged from the weight of the pillow.
Well, it doesn't really matter now that we're practically home. Oh, which reminds me.
Of what?
As soon as we get to the apartment, we've got to call them.
Who?
The Fergusons.
Who are they?
Oh, well, don't you remember, darling, that wonderful couple with the ptomaine poisoning? They spent 2 whole weeks at the hotel before getting it out of their system.
Well, I must have gotten them out of mine because I don't remember anybody by the name of Ferguson.
Well, you must, Jerry. He was that tall, good-looking man who dances so well.
Mm-hmm. I never had the pleasure of dancing with him, dear.
Well, you must have danced with her. Don't you remember the fuss you made over that low-cut evening dress of hers? Never saw anyone stare so.
Oh, Ferguson. Why, of course, nice fellow.
Yes, wasn't she? Oh, Jerry, look out, that woman!
What woman?
In the red dress. Oh, my stars, you've hit her.
Let me go, Pam. I've got to see if she's hurt.
Oh, she must be, Jerry. She's lying there.
Quick, got to get her to a doctor.
No, I don't need a doctor. The car didn't hit me. I just fell.
I'm terribly sorry, miss. Let me help you up.
No, I don't have to be helped. I'm perfectly all right.
Well, just to be safe, we'll take you home.
Yes, get in the car and we'll drive you right over. Where do you live?
Why, I live... That's strange. I can't remember.
Well, don't worry about it.
Oh, just give us your name and we'll find out where you live.
But I I can't remember my name either.
You don't remember anything?
Well, just that I put on this red dress and... Wait a minute. Somebody was chasing me. Somebody with a gun.
Who?
That's just it. I can't remember.
Slow down, Redmond. Not so fast. You seem to forget that I'm a man of considerable weight. This speed doesn't agree with me.
Well, it don't agree with me neither, boss, but if you want to keep track of that dame in a red dress, you better get a move on.
I'm moving.
Yeah, but you loused me up with that slow walk of yours. Now I lost the dame.
Well, find her again and be quick about it.
Yeah, gee, that's funny. I could have swore she come around the corner. Hey, wait a minute. Get back.
Did you see her?
Yeah, over there, in front of that car. Take it to that blonde dame talking to the blonde dame and that guy.
Are you sure that's the girl?
Well, that's the one we've been following from the hotel.
Then keep your eye on her. She's getting into that car. That young lady is worth $1 million to me. Literally $1 million.
Is she worth it dead or alive?
It all depends on what she does. Quick, get a cab. The car she's in is starting up.
Don't worry.
Don't tell me not to worry. Follow that car. Make sure that girl doesn't get to Bottomley's office.
Just leave it to me, boss. That girl won't get nowhere.
You still can't remember what your name is or where you live?
Nothing, Mrs. North. My mind is just a blank. I can't remember anything before the accident.
What did you find in her bag, Pam?
Oh, nothing yet, Jerry, nothing.
Well, there must be something in there that can tell us who she is. If somebody with a gun is after her, we'd better find out in a hurry.
Oh, nothing in here but odds and ends, lipstick, wallets, cigarettes, and... Wait a minute. Here's something.
What is it?
A hotel key. Room 203, Jason Park Hotel. Does that mean anything to you?
No, I don't think so.
Well, we're not going to take any more chances on your life, young lady. As soon as this light changes, we're taking you straight to police headquarters for protection.
Oh, I think we better, Jerry. I've got a feeling that... Jerry! Where did those shots come from?
I don't know, but I'm getting out of here fast.
Jerry!
What's the matter?
Those shots! They came through the window of the car. They hit her.
What?
She's dead, Jerry. She's dead. Those shots we heard, they killed her.
All right, Jerry, now that the body's been taken away, you can tell me exactly where she was sitting.
Well, we told you, Bill. We were right here in the car, waiting for the red light to change, and the woman was nearest to this window.
And then we heard the shots.
And if Pam hadn't told me she'd been hit, I wouldn't have known anything had happened.
You didn't see who fired the shots, of course.
No.
And you don't know the woman's name or who was after her?
Oh, no. The only clue we've got was this hotel key.
Well, hang on to it for a minute. I'll figure something out.
Well, let's go over to the Jason Park Hotel and find out what this key means.
Pam, will you let me play detective for a minute? The key won't run away.
But the man who committed the murder will. Why do we have to stay here?
Because I've got some witnesses to question. Now, there are 6 people over there who were on the sidewalk when the shots were fired. And I've got to talk to every one of them.
Well, you talk to the witnesses, and we'll go over to the Jason Park Hotel.
That's right.
Now, wait a minute. I can't have you running off and getting into trouble.
What's the matter, Bill? Are you afraid we'll find the murderer?
No. I'm afraid he'll find you.
Well, if he does, we'll call the police.
Now, Pam, come back here.
Oh, see you at the hotel, Bill. Room 203.
Oh, all right. Go ahead and get killed. See if I care. But for Pete's sake, be careful.
Here it is, Pam, room 203.
Well, what should we do? Knock or just use the key?
Well, I'd say knock, but from the look in your eyes, I can tell we're going to use the key.
Well, Jerry, if we're going to sneak in, let's use the key. Let's not make it a secret.
Darling, I'm not a second-story man. And this door is no help either.
Anybody in there?
Not as far as I can see. The room is in perfect order.
Well, let's go and disorder it.
Do you see anything?
Bed, dresser, and a phone. Oh my goodness, I just remembered. I was supposed to call the Fergusons as soon as we got to New York.
The who?
The Fergusons, Jerry. Don't you remember those people with the low-cut evening dress?
Pam, will you stop thinking about evening dresses at a time like this?
Well, I promised we'd call them to make a date.
Well, you can do that later. Now, see if you can find in the... Oh, there's something on the dresser.
What?
A picture.
Jerry, it's the picture of the woman who was murdered.
So it is.
Oh, let's look in the dresser. A package of letters and a photostatic copy of a birth certificate.
What's the name on it?
Olivia Ward. The letters are addressed to her too.
Then that's who the dead woman is, Olivia Ward. We better get hold of Weigard and tell him her name.
Before we open these letters?
Now, Pam, you leave those letters alone.
Yeah, I think you'd better.
What?
Get your hands up, both of you. I want those letters, and I want that birth certificate too.
Well, you can't have it.
Can't I? You don't seem to realize that I have a loaded gun in my hand, and I'm not afraid to use it.
To get a hold of these letters? Are they that important to you?
That's my business, and I don't like people interfering in it. Now give me those letters and be quick about it.
Oh, no. We're turning these over to the police. They'll be here any minute.
Who are you kidding? What do the police know about this?
More than you think, young lady. And if you don't believe me, just have a look out this window.
What for?
For this!
Oh, let go of me! Oh!
Pam, get her gun!
Okay, Jerry. All right, I've got it.
Well, don't point it at me, dear.
Let go of me, you crazy fool! What do you think you're trying to do?
I'm trying to find a murderer. And from the way it stands right now, you're a very likely suspect.
Are you out of your mind? I don't even know who's been killed.
Well, then why do you want these letters? And what do you know about Olivia Ward?
Olivia Ward?
Yes, she was murdered about an hour ago, and you killed her, didn't you?
Don't be insane. How could I have killed her? I'm Olivia Ward.
Hello, boss.
Redmond, why in the world did you come to my apartment? Didn't I tell you not to let that girl out of your sight?
All right, stop blowing your top, boss. There's no harm done.
No harm done. Suppose that girl gets to Bottomley's office. Suppose she shows him her birth certificate and those letters from her aunt.
And if she does, it'll be the trick of the century. She's dead.
Deceased?
Deceased, dead, and laying in the morgue. And the police are out looking for the murderer.
Then, you killed her?
Yeah, sure. Why are you asking so many questions, Mr. Skinner? I had to get that girl away from Bottomley's office, and now that she ain't ever gonna get there, my job is done.
But, murder? Cold-blooded murder?
Yeah, well, what difference does it make what the temperature is? I want my dough, boss. I want it right now.
Well, before I pay up, I want to make sure you're telling me the truth.
What's the matter? Don't you believe me?
My dear boy, in matters of money, I make it a habit not to believe anybody.
What are you gonna do?
I'm phoning the hotel, of course, and check on your story.
Jason Park Hotel.
Room 203, please.
Yes, sir. Room 203.
Hello?
Who's this?
Well, this is me. Who's that?
Why, I'm Miss Olivia Ward's attorney, Mr. Bottomley. It's very important that I see her right away. Do you know where I can find her?
Olivia Ward?
Yes.
Oh, just a minute.
Say, I told you she was dead.
Quiet, will you?
Hello?
I wish to speak to Miss Ward, please.
This is Miss Ward.
What?
Is this Mr. Bottomley?
Yes, but excuse me, I can't talk. I'll call you back. Confound it, Redmond, you did lie to me.
Don't be crazy. She's dead, I tell you. I saw her.
You didn't see Olivia Ward dead. She was just on the phone. You killed the wrong girl.
What?
Come with me. I hate to trust you with a plan that requires intelligence, but I haven't any choice.
Yeah? What's the plan?
You're going up to Miss Ward's hotel room, and you'll tell her you're Mr. Bottomley's chauffeur.
Huh?
I'll be waiting downstairs in the car. And if you can get her to come to the car, the rest will be easy. Once I get my hands on Olivia Ward, I'll never let go.
I can't understand it, Mr. North. If that was Mr. Bottomley on the phone, why did he act so strange?
Well, maybe he's just a strange man.
Well, I've never met him, but he's a well-known lawyer. And if there's something wrong, I want to know what it is.
Easy now, Miss Ward. As soon as Lieutenant Wygand arrives, we'll get to the bottom of this whole thing.
But you don't understand. My life has been threatened. That's why I came here with a gun. I was afraid I might be killed.
You? Why?
Because I have a chance of inheriting an enormous fortune, unless I'm killed before I can prove my identity.
What do you mean?
Well, my aunt was a very rich woman, Mr. North. Her name was Agatha Pierce. And when she died, she didn't leave a will. So her entire estate goes to her nearest of kin.
And that's you?
Well, that's what Mr. Bottomley thinks. That's why he wrote to me out in Seattle and sent me the money to come here. But even out here, I received threatening phone calls.
From who?
I don't know, but I was afraid to make that long trip alone, so I brought a friend along.
The woman whose picture you have on your dresser?
Yes.
Miss Ward, I'm afraid I have some bad news for you. Your friend is dead.
Dead?
Yes, she was murdered in our car this afternoon.
Oh, no, I just left her here about an hour ago.
Well, she must have gone out after you left, and when we saw her in the street, and
Yes? Is that you, Bill?
This is Mr. Bottomley's chauffeur.
Who?
Mr. Bottomley's chauffeur. Is Miss Ward there?
Well,
open the door, Jerry.
All right.
Is Miss Ward in? Mr. Bottomley wants to see her right away.
About what?
Well, he says it's dangerous for her to stay here any longer. She might be killed.
By whom?
By the man who tried to kill him. That's why he had to ring off on the phone to save his own life.
Well, where is he now?
Downstairs in the car. He's waiting, see? And he wants Miss Ward to come down right away and bring all her identification papers.
All right, I'll go.
Now, wait a minute.
No time. The killer could be on his way up here right now.
He's right, Mr. North. I can't afford to stay here any longer.
Okay, we'll take you down to the car.
Jerry!
Come on, Pam, let's hurry. Have you got your papers, Miss Ward?
Yes, I've got them.
Okay, let's go. The sooner we get out of here, the sooner we can...
Wait a second.
What?
Somebody's coming down the hall. Quick, open the door and get back in the room.
What for?
That guy in the hall. Quick, get back.
Why, that's Bill Wygand.
That man you're with is Tommy Redmond. Grab him, Jerry. He's escaped con. Grab him. He's starting to get away.
Oh, no, you don't.
Hey, what's the idea of socking me?
I needed to keep you quiet for a while till I find out what you're up to.
Well, I'll tell you what he's up to, Bill. Kidnapping Miss Ward. He made believe that he was trying to help her, but... Jerry!
What?
Miss Ward! She's gone!
Holy mackerel, we've got to find her. Bill, before she gets killed.
Killed? Who?
Oh, the woman who was just here. They tried to kill her this afternoon. Only they made a mistake and they shot the wrong girl.
She couldn't have disappeared, Pam. She must have taken the elevator at the end of the hall.
Oh, no, the back stairs, Jerry, over there.
I beg your pardon.
Who are you?
Why, I'm the manager of this hotel. I just came up the stairway to investigate the disturbance up here.
Well, I'm Lieutenant Wigan, homicide. Anybody pass you on those stairs?
Why, yes, Miss Olivia Ward. She was going down while I was coming up.
Oh, for goodness sake. Why didn't you stop her?
Well, I tried to, madam, but a great big fat man pushed me out of the way.
A fat man? Come on, Bill, we've got to find him.
Oh, it's no use, sir. They ran out through the lobby and drove off in his car.
Where are you taking me? Why are you driving so fast?
Oh, patience, my dear. We'll be there in a moment now. My summer cabin's just off the main road here. There, you see, it's back there amongst the trees.
But why are you taking me to your summer cabin? And why did you rush me out of the hotel?
Well, my dear child, I was protecting you from those ruffians in the hallway. They, might have shot you.
But if they would have shot me...
Olivia, please, we're here now. And as for your questions that are so intriguing, I'll answer them when we get inside. This way, please.
No, I'm not going in.
You're not what? Come along, young lady. No time for femininity.
I'm not going in, I tell you.
No? Then I shall have to offer you a little inducement with this gun.
Put that down.
I will when you do precisely what I tell you to do. Go inside and be quick about it.
Very well. But you'll have a lot of explaining to do when we get back to New York, Mr. Bottomley.
We're not going back to New York, my dear. And I hate to disillusion you in this late date, but I'm not Mr. Bottomley. I just told you that to keep you quiet on the way.
You didn't.
I'm afraid I did, Miss Ward. You see, I'm rather an evil man.
Oh, no.
My name is Skinner, and your dear departed Aunt Agatha Pierce is a first cousin of mine. If it were not for you, I would be the uncontested next of kin and the heir to a considerable fortune.
Oh, no. So that's what this is about.
Yes. Now get inside. I have a great deal to talk to you about.
Haven't you said enough?
Not quite. I brought you here because deep within the ventricles of my heart, I have a spark of generosity. I'm willing to let you live.
Live?
On one condition, that you furnish me with the proof of your identity, accept $20,000 in cash, and vanish from the face of this earth forever.
And give up the $1 million that belongs to me?
Don't be greedy, Miss Ward. Look what greed has done to me. I doubt that a creature like yourself would be uncharitable.
I won't do it.
You won't give up $1 million for your own life?
No, you wouldn't kill me anyway.
Wouldn't I? One girl has died already for that $1 million. Your death can be taken in stride.
Put me down!
What's your answer, Miss Ward?
No, I
do as
won't.
I tell you?
No, I won't.
Then you shall have to suffer the consequences.
Let me go! Let me go!
Why, you miserable little wretch? My instinct, I'm not a violent man.
No!
But through the years, I've learned to overcome my gentle nature.
Oh, no! No!
Step on it, Bill. If Skinner's got that girl up there in his cabin, he'll kill her for sure.
I'm going as fast as I can, Jerry.
Hey, take it easy. That's the turnoff right there.
Oh, gosh, we made that on 2 wheels.
Well, twos are better than none. Where's the cabin, Redmond?
Right up ahead in the woods.
You're not kidding us, are you? If you're leading us on a wild goose chase, then you'll do 10 more years.
That's a lot for what? This is the cabin, I tell you, and there's his car.
All right, you stay with us. And don't try any tricks. We're all going in there together.
Oh, hurry, Jerry. We'll be too late if we don't hurry.
Okay, let's go.
Remember what I told you, Redmond. You try to get away, I'll nail you. All right, Jerry, open the door. I'm going in first.
Right.
Who's there?
Take your hands off that girl, Skinner. Get him up in the air.
Oh, my throat. He tried to kill me.
Oh, I'm glad we got here in time to prevent him.
You, Redmond. You told them where to find me.
I couldn't help it. They was giving me the third degree.
Well, I'll give you the fourth.
Hey, cut that out. Are you all right, Miss Ward?
Yes, I think so.
Well, I'm sorry you had to go through all this trouble. But you made it easy for us to find out who murdered your friend, Sally Fuller. Mrs. Skinner, you're under arrest.
Don't be absurd. You haven't any case against me.
We'll see about that when we get to court.
Now, just a minute. You can't railroad me into a crime I didn't commit. The man who killed Sally Fuller is standing right over there.
Oh, me?
Yes, you, Redmond. You practically admitted it in my apartment this afternoon.
Why, you're full of baloney. I didn't admit nothing.
But you were at the scene of the crime when the murder was committed.
Yeah, who knows where you was when the murder was committed?
Now, just a minute. Just a minute. I think we can settle this once and for all.
How, Pam?
Through the Fergusons.
Oh, not them again.
Well, I just remembered, Jerry. The Fergusons are related to Miss Ward's aunt.
Agatha Pierce?
Yes, and Mrs. Ferguson was out in Seattle this summer, and she planned a visit to... Come to think of it, she paid a visit to you, Miss Ward.
Me?
Yes, I think she said that you went to a concert together and, Oh, you remember Mrs. Ferguson, don't you?
Why, yes, of course. We did go to a concert.
Crying out loud, Pam, what in the world has this got to do with the murder of Sally Fuller?
Everything, Bill, everything. Because Sally Fuller wasn't murdered. This young lady is Sally Fuller, and the dead woman is Olivia Ward.
What are you talking about?
I'm talking about you, Miss Fuller. You were so anxious to prove your phony identity, you walked right into the trap I set for you.
What trap?
About Mrs. Ferguson. Mrs. Ferguson never went to Seattle, and she isn't related to Agatha Pierce.
Why, you dirty little skunk.
I'm sorry, Miss Fuller, but I had to find out what your game was. And now I know. You killed Olivia Ward so you could take her identification papers and impersonate her for $1 million inheritance.
That's a lie.
Is it? The real Olivia Ward would have known Mrs. Ferguson never took her to a concert this summer, and the real Olivia Ward would have denied it. But you couldn't afford to, because you were afraid it might reveal you as a faker.
Bill, grab her.
Got her.
Let me go! Let me go!
Oh, I'll let you go all right, but where you're going, you'll never inherit $1 million.
Home at last.
And a pretty grisly looking sight it is, too. Pamela, dear, did you forget to have the cleaning woman come here during our vacation?
Yes.
And did you forget to cut off the newspapers and the milk and the electricity?
Yes.
And you forgot to defrost the refrigerator, too, dear. Looks like the Arctic Ocean in here.
Oh, but it's home, Jerry. And now that we're here, I'm going to call the Fergusons.
The Fergusons?
Well, I promised I'd call them as soon as we got home, Jerry.
Okay, go ahead and call them.
Hello? Hello, operator? Operator! Oh, for goodness sakes.
What's the matter now?
The phone, Jerry. The only thing I remembered. I had it disconnected when we went away.
can't imagine why Pam couldn't get the apartment closed down properly. After all, Jerry was sitting behind the wheel downstairs, waiting for her to get her act together so they could get going. It's the old, what takes you so long when standing outside the ladies' room waiting for one's spouse? Okay. You'll have to admit there were a few twists and turns in this Pam and Jerry plot. Those of us taking part in bringing you the mix-up tonight are the patient, long-suffering detective, Jerry North, was played by Walt Kovalik. With his slightly ditzy, yet smarty pants wife, Pam, that was our Donna Ammersmeyer. Using his most evil voice to match his character was Dave Sanchi. While Redmond, his felonious sidekick who couldn't tell one victim from another, was Herb Thompson. And speaking of evil people who have larceny in their hearts, how could we forget Olivia? No, Sally. No, Olivia. No, whoever. And that was the lady who has the most often mispronounced name in the group, Sue Kaczynski. By the way, we couldn't have a detective show without the police force. And there we cast Tom Duggan as Lieutenant Bill Wigan. In case you haven't noticed, Tom's the new kid on the block, and we welcome him to our midst. Now, moving right along with credits, managing the not quite five-star Jason Park Hotel was Jay Summerfield. Who, in turn, was in charge of hiring the hotel telephone operator and chose Sue Kovalik. By the way, if you can still remember real live ladies announcing, "Number, please," when you picked up the receiver to make a call. Anyone? Oh. Youngsters. Sue's was probably the voice you heard if you had been around to hear it. Oh yes, the poor dead girl who died up on page 5 and never did get to inherit that million was our director for tonight, Ellie Babka. And thankfully, here she is for one last time.
Let's also hear it for our announcer, Andre Dixon. He will be our rotating director next month, and more about that later. You did bring that information, didn't you? Oh. But first, we're very fortunate to include in our midst a man who does an awful lot to make these shows as authentic as possible. Given that he wasn't even born during the golden age of radio, he spends many hours assembling various sound effects, recording music from the actual soundtracks, and occasionally filling in with his voice. Being a graphic artist by profession, he also manages to design the flyers that appear locally in surrounding libraries. We like to keep the dear man busy, and I'd like you to give him a special thank you to that Irish lad over there, Marty McNulty. Those of you with computer access, I hope you find time to follow us on www.riversideplayers.com and www.riverside-townshipradioplayers.com, where our shows may be seen on YouTube. Thanks to the filming done by these gentlemen to your left, John V. Gelsomino and Lorenzo Cordoba. And then, with many thanks to Andre's expertise and the magic of high technology, and to me it's all magic, the local Channel 6 broadcasts also appear on the Internet's YouTube and have been getting attention from far and wide. In addition, we thank St. Mary's Church here in Riverside for promoting our shows every month, and are especially grateful to Donna, who contacts several printed media about upcoming shows. I have to say that the Tribune fell down on the job this month, but I hope they pick it up again next month. We also thank two of the trustees from the Township, who are sitting right here in the front row, Steve and Ann Kubitsky. I hope I'm not slighting any others. Are there any others here, Ann? Okay. Speaking of next month, now, here's our rotating director to let you in on what he'll have up his sleeve for October. Andre, come and rotate.
Hello. As Ellie has said, I am Andre Dixon, and I will be your host and director for next month's program. I'd also like to give thanks to the Riverside Township for their very generous and continuing support for our efforts to present the very best of old-time radio. Wave your hands. There may be one or more people among the cast, Ellie, and the audience who may not know that next month is October. October is that month where anything goes. And we don't always follow the usual pattern of programs performed by the Riverside Township radio players. Next month, our group will present two slightly unusual radio programs that are tied together by Halloween, which many consider to be the beginning of our holiday season. From the CBS Radio Workshop, which was an experimental dramatic radio anthology series, we will perform A Pride of Carrots, or Venus Well Served, which was first performed in 1956. And from the Inner Sanctum Mystery Series, we will astound you with Make Ready My Grave, from 1946. We plan to be here in the same room at our normal time, 7:30 p.m. on Friday, October 24th. You may want to bring a friend or two and a torch or flashlight with you. It will be dark when we release you to go home. Good night.
If you'd like a schedule for the entire year, these will be on the table. You can pick one up on your way out. And thank you so much for being with us tonight.